Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Major League Minute Podcast. I'm Doc. I'm here with GMP. Today, we're talking all things MLV, a little VNL, some backlash. That's a harsh word, backlash from some of the clips.
Yeah, but it's all fun and games.
From the last episode.
Yeah.
You still triggered?
I am, and so I was just gonna say I'm like my blood is boiling right now.
You got all 5 fingers on the chest?
And I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. Because before we hit record,
Who are you apologizing to? Me or
I'm
our audience?
apologizing to you.
In advance for what's getting ready to happen?
Well, probably in advance, but also because of the last just 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I feel like you triggered me, and I was just
perfect. That's what I was intentionally trying to do to get you fired up. I'm tired of carrying you. This is episode 33, and you've been on my back for 33 episodes, and I'm carrying this thing.
Okay, I take my apology back.
Thank you.
I'm not sorry. No, I am sorry. But I don't want to be angry to the people.
Well, don't be angry, but I do have some podcast rules before we get into the good news and the bad news. I got podcast rules moving forward, and this came out of the last clip.
Okay.
You want to know what they are? Number 1, don't ever, under any circumstances, put a hand, a foot, a fist, or a slap across the midline, across the center line.
Who came
That's
up
a
with these
complete
rules?
podcast violation. It's 50% between me and you. Keep your hands.
We'll have to ask our producer to please put a tape line down.
2 solid yellow lines. Do not cross over there. That's rule number 1.
Okay,
podcast
are these
etiquette.
Order of importance?
Not necessarily, but
all right.
Take it for what it is. Number 2, you ready for this?
Yes.
I got called out on this on one of the clips.
What?
And you gave me a heads up, but we can't speak over the other person.
Yeah, that is so. It's annoying when you're listening.
Yes.
Because we can't tell who's talking, or it blurps out someone else.
And it seems like it's disrespectful or something.
I've never felt disrespected.
Well, then let's keep doing it.
Oh, you crossed the center line.
No, I met you halfway, 50-50.
Okay.
Right on the line. You got to get your whole fist over the center line.
You're crossing the center line.
I was showing our
again.
audience. You got to get your whole fist,
okay,
your whole foot over.
Let me just say I've never felt disrespected.
Okay, well, thank you, because that takes me into my 3rd podcast rule for the Major League Minute Podcast. It's Doc needs to be less, or I'm too condescending.
To me?
Yeah. Well, what does condescending mean?
I don't know if I've ever felt like you were condescending.
I got called out, so that's one of my rules. So I need to scratch that one off the list too.
Someone called you out for being condescending to me?
Yes. What does that even mean?
Like you make me feel stupid, probably, is what they, but I don't.
And that's intentionally? Like I would be intentionally say something to get you.
You are not that type of guy.
To feel less than or something like. So can I be condescending according to?
I think what someone is misinterpreting is Doc just loves a conversation back and forth. So I think you intentionally poke me.
Yes.
So that we engage in conversation, and then you want me all fired up.
That's what I'm supposed to be doing, right?
And you do a great job sometimes.
Otherwise, you're just sleepwalking through the episode, and I'm carrying you again, and then...
Okay, this is maybe right here what that person is talking about.
Is that
You're bashing me for no reason.
There it is right there. Okay, so those are the podcast rules, but we're not going to follow any one of them at any point in time. We good?
Got it. They're there,
except
but
the center
rules
line.
rules are meant to be broken.
That's it.
Right?
Let's go. Good news, bad news. What do you want first? Good news or the bad news?
I want let's go against the flow here. Let's do good news first, and then bad news.
Good news. You ready?
Yeah.
We're up to 177 subscribers on YouTube. So
wow,
we were at 151 last week, up to 177. Do the math. Carry over, 16? Cross down. Whatever that is.
151?
Yeah, 151 to 177. Yeah.
26.
Let's go. Meet me halfway, dog. That's great.
That is really good. Thank you, guys.
Yep. So what we're actually pushing for between now and the next time we record, which will be next week, which will be World Volleyball Day. If we record next Tuesday, we're going to record.
On the World Volleyball Day?
Yeah, is that a thing? Is that what it's called? World Volleyball Day.
Is there any events happening in Omaha?
That I have no idea. The event is right here. It's going to go down right here on World Volleyball
right
Day.
Right here in the studio.
Yeah, do you want to go live? Do you want to do something different? Do you want to... I don't know. Okay, just keep it the same?
We are live, technically.
We'll figure that out by then. So the good news is we're up to 177 subscribers, 177 by the end of next week. We're hoping to, and with your help, thank you for subscribing. take us over the 200 subscriber threshold by the time we record next week. I can't wait to talk about that on World Volleyball Day next week. Next Tuesday, we'll talk about how our audience has catapulted us over the 200 subscriber mark.
Looking forward to it. Let's roll.
Wow, you look so excited. You look so excited.
That's condensate.
That's
Why do I
condensate.
keep saying condensation?
Condensation. That's condensation.
Words are difficult for me.
Hey, but that's the good news. So we're ticking
what's
up.
the bad news now?
The bad news is, I'm glad you asked. The bad news is only about 60% of our viewers are actually subscribing to our podcast on YouTube. So the call out is they're eating, but they're not leaving a tip. They're watching and taking it in and absorbing.
They're watching from their windows, fully entertained.
From the window to the wall.
But they ain't coming out to the sidewalk to meet us.
That's it. And they eating and not leaving a tip.
Okay.
So what's your call
40%?
out? No, 60%.
No, did you say 60% are subscribing?
Are not subscribed.
Are
They're just
not?
eating.
So over half?
Exactly. That's what 60 is. It's over 50, so that'd be over half.
Wow. Guys, it's so easy. It's so free. And it's just like it's the simplest way that you can support us. So if you want to keep hearing us chat and yell at each other and cross the center line, then
and speak over one another.
All it takes is just a simple button click.
Yep. Just hit the subscription button. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram.
Okay,
TikTok.
but the positive of that is we have 60% of our audience to work with now. Like that can really catapult our numbers.
Yes.
So let's go. That's good news.
Absolutely. There's a lot of opportunity there.
There's good. We did. That's what we call a positive sandwich. Okay.
Okay. I like sandwiches.
A constructive sandwich.
Okay.
We started with some good.
Yep.
We had some bad, but we ended with good. Sandwich.
Okay. What's the back end of the sandwich? What was the last part of the good? Was that there's plenty of opportunity for us to
tap
grow into those.
Yeah.
That 60% that are eating and not subscribing.
To get over that 200 mark, that goal that we want.
All you got to do is hit subscribe. It costs you nothing, and it really benefits us. Do you know how it benefits the podcast?
Please tell us.
It helps us with the YouTube algorithm and allows volleyball fans around the world to find and access our podcast channel easily.
Perfect.
Yes.
Let's get it done.
So thanks again for those of you that are already subscribed. And if you haven't, please subscribe on YouTube, like and share and comment. It's totally free, and it's your way of saying, I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Every subscription counts and allows us to do what we do bigger and better each and every episode. So please subscribe. Help us break the 200 subscriber threshold by this time next week. World Volleyball Day, July 7th, 2026. It's going down for real.
You are fired up.
Dang,
right now. In this last 5 minutes, you were carrying me.
Still.
But that's your role.
And can I let everybody know that you were like on your game this week?
What do you mean?
Like usually you're sitting here, oh, I'm so not ready. I have no idea what we're going to be talking about.
Okay, you can't reveal my weakness.
That's like the previous 32 episodes. You're coming to the table. Oh, I'm not. Oh.
No one knows what that sound is from but me and you.
It's you showing up to the table feeling unprepared like you have been for the last 32 episodes.
Well, I'm a mom. I have a job as well. It's tough to set time aside.
But the positive news is that this time, episode 33, it took you 33 episodes. You showed up on time.
I was
prepared. You had this stuff 3 days in advance.
Yeah.
All your T's were crossed and all your I's were dotted. And now we'll get to see how actually accurate you are.
We'll see. Just because I came prepared doesn't necessarily mean I'm accurate. But hopefully,
buddy's swinging from one end to the other. Oh, I'm so unprepared. Hey, now you're over-prepared.
Growth mindset. Gotta just keep improving. Move one day at a time forward.
I'm more like a day of the show guy. 3 a.m., day of the show, morning of the show, afternoon of the show, just taking everything down to the wire to keep it exciting.
And I'm the complete opposite. This is why it's a yin-yang relationship.
Maybe that's why it's working.
Probably.
So these rules are not rules at all. But we do want to talk about, you said backlash. Is that what you consider?
Yeah.
Like you took the lashings on your back from comments and on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok?
Maybe backlash is a too strong of word here. We just created a lot of content via comments. I think a majority of people landed more so on my mindset.
Whoa.
Hold on.
You sure about that?
I said a majority. I didn't say all of them.
60-40? Because I came up with 50-50.
50-50?
50-50.
No way.
Yep.
We need our producer in here to fact check that.
Okay, we can go 40-60, 50-50.
So regardless, a lot of it was, you were one way or another. There was really not a lot of middle ground people. But it was, so what we're talking about is the clip of the Pitt coach last week, how he basically in his video said he encouraged you to intentionally toss poorly on your serve so that you can be prepared in a game when that happens and still come out with success or a solution. As a friendly reminder, I think that is very poor advice, and I would never practice something intentionally bad on something that I can 100% control in my own hands.
Okay.
This is different from practicing an out-of-system set, which I know somebody was like, dude, that's not... They got on you about that. Right. That is different. An out-of-system set is something out of your control. Right? So someone could make an awesome dig, but it's with one hand and the setter has to dive and bump it to you. Out of your control. People are trying to make the ball better. And that you have to be prepared for that. And you do have to practice hitting out of system sets.
Yep.
This is a serve, people. This is something fully in your control. You have the ball. You have the view of the court. You get to decide where your feet go. All of the above. I would never, ever go back to the service line in a practice and intentionally toss the ball to my left or intentionally toss the ball to my right or intentionally toss it too high or too low so that I would be prepared in a game. My opinion, my mindset is, since that's something I can fully control, I'm going to go back there and do it to the best of my ability, which that's key, because I think your argument is your toss is it's not always going to be perfect, which I agree with. We're human. No one's perfect. You can't toss 100 balls perfect every time you go back. However, now I lost my train of thought.
However.
But if I go back to the service line, that's something that needs to be so almost, I hesitate even saying robotic, because I know there will people who will get on me about that out there of like, oh no, you can't be robotic.
Regimented.
You're so, yeah. Fill in the blank. I know that there are people out there just from these opinions, but to my point is I'm going to go back there and do my routine to the best of my ability, exactly the same every time, so that when I go back to the service line and it's 25-24, let me say it like this, 24-25 the other team, and it's our turn to serve, I want to be confident, comfortable, and so confident, let's just say, in my serve, because I've done it 1,000,000 times the same way, that I'm going to do it 1,000,001 times the same way.
And you're not prepared if it's the one time that it's not. That's something I also want to specify is great players know how to make adjustments. In-game adjustment,
so that would be
adjustment.
An adjustment. Because I'm a great player, I can
accommodate.
I can make that adjustment. But I'm not about to spend 20 minutes every practice intentionally tossing bad so that I could be prepared for maybe something that happens once every 10 matches.
Okay.
What's your take?
I'm just listening. I'm looking at the comments.
Oh,
and I'm
you weren't just listening 20 minutes ago, bud.
Well, that's because the way I see it is when we're playing baseball with the kids, we have the tee set up on the plate, and we set the tee up on the inside rail. We set it down the middle, but rarely is it down the middle fastball. We set it on the outside of the plate. We set it up high. We set it down low, so that they're prepared. We even set it off the plate in case it's a 2-strike count, so that they can foul it off. They're preparing their eye-hand coordination for accommodation. Right. So within the strike zone.
I think that's a great drill. That's the same thing as practicing out-of-system sets, where you're going to have an inside set sometimes on accident. You're going to have a wide set sometimes. You're going to have a set that's maybe 5 feet off the net sometimes. To me, that's the same type of situation where you are practicing something that's out of system or out
High
of the
degree
strike
of
zone.
uncertainty, yeah. Okay. Let's roll a clip.
I think...
Is that your crooked, broken finger?
No, this is my straight one.
Keep it on that side of the 50-50 line then.
I think maybe a similar comparison in baseball is I'm going to get this ground ball and I'm going to practice throwing it intentionally as best as I can to first base so that I can get the out.
Okay.
Versus
so you're not
if
going to
this
throw
Pitt
it high.
coach was applying to baseball, it's like, I'm going to ground this ball, but I'm going to purposely throw it to the right, to the left, up high, or down low so that first baseman has to practice.
You get some reps. See, I see both sides of it.
But that happens accidentally, but great players know how to make adjustments.
In-game adjustments, okay.
Great players know how to make plays.
How do they know how to make those in-game adjustments if they haven't practiced them?
Okay, at the end of the day, you practice them unintentionally, right? So if here I am saying I would never intentionally practice a bad serving toss. To this day, I cannot say that I have tossed every single serve toss perfect. So therefore, what does that mean? There have been multiple times in my life where I have served off of a bad toss because it just happens, but my intentions wasn't to toss it bad.
But what if you had been practicing that? How more effective could that serve have been?
This is where I'm like, I'm so fired up.
Do we need to move on?
Why would I practice something like that's a 1% thing out of a...
Oh, so you're throwing out of 100 balls, you're tossing it up 99 times perfectly, identically as the previous 99, 98?
Okay, 99 out of 100 is a pretty high goal. I don't know if I could accomplish that. I don't know if anyone could accomplish that.
Especially if you're outside in the sand or something. I mean, in the wind, in the sun. We'll stay indoors.
To your wind and sun, that's a whole different conversation.
Okay.
And maybe that's...
Where Gina was talking about, right?
Maybe, I don't even know if I can finish that thought. Maybe that is something that you have to practice in a different sport where there's wind and there's outside variables.
The elements, the variables.
But we're talking about indoor volleyball.
Because that's what Coach was talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Coach from Pitt.
Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned Gina.
Yes.
And she was someone that commented.
High-level AVP women's volleyball player.
And so then you looked into her, right?
Yep.
You found this thing on a podcast.
Yep,
so I'm going to pull
it's
that
talked
up.
about, or we'll let her introduce it. I can introduce the term. It's called differential learning. And she responded or commented based on our Instagram posts and our YouTube posts about, hey, maybe you need to look into this. They were doing it at LMU. I think the coach was Benny, so they introduced this concept there. And I think they've been using it at high-level volleyball, in the high-level volleyball community.
Okay.
Let
me play this.
What's called is differential learning. And the idea is to try skills different ways. And so, for example, we warm up with practice called ABC sometimes, where maybe if we're starting serving, we're trying a serve 3 different ways. So like, okay, serve facing the target, now serve offline of the target, now serve hybrid, like toss with a float and then generate spin on it, stuff like that. Or if let's say you're passing and setting, okay, you're going to alternate between passing with one eye open and then passing with both eyes open.
Whoa.
Or you're going to pass off one leg, or you're going to pass with a different starting stance each time, like feet narrow, feet wide, on one knee. Like it's so weird. You just it's like it's totally outside the box.
Right.
And it's a way to do things, skills different ways. And then it's also a way to externalize things as well. It's been so fun to try those things in practice when you're warming up and doing drills. And then all of a sudden I'm in the match and there's a tight ball and I have to jump bump. And we did a drill where you had to jump up and I'm like, oh my God, there it is.
Yeah.
That's when I needed it. And I did it right there.
Yeah.
Or something or hitting with your left hand. Like set was wide. Oh my gosh, I had to do a drill where I can only hit with my left. Like there's so many different situations where you never know.
It's like a structured way to like play like a kid again.
What it's called is
So the context there is it's called differential learning.
Yes.
It's an open-minded, less regimented approach to trying different skills in different ways to create, innovate, and develop your techniques and your skills by intentionally opening new neurological pathways, doing things that are not regimented. They're out of the norm. It's a little high. It's a little to the left. It's a little to the right. It's 1 foot forward. It's one eye open, one eye closed. Neurological pathways in your brain so that if and when something similar happens in the match, you are more likely to execute the skill.
So let me start by saying I'm not necessarily opposed to this method, let's say.
Methodology, yeah.
I think that this would work really well for some athletes. I don't think it will work well for some other athletes.
Okay, and you'd be one of those.
And
have you ever tried it? Are you open to it?
Listen, I have tried it, but for example, she talked about swinging with your left hand.
Mm-hmm.
I have warmed up sometimes when I'm peppering with a partner. It's not like I'm in an actual drill where I swing left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's maybe the only time I've intentionally practiced it.
Okay.
And there has been a couple times in my life where the set is wide and I swing left-handed. It's an adjustment that I'm able to make in game or in practice if it's a drill, like if it happens during a drill. And I'm not necessarily in a match, but it does happen. But maybe this is where I can settle. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'm someone, I would rather go practice to my best ability, to the best strategy, the best method. Practicing on 1 foot is crazy to me. Practicing on 1 foot passing is crazy to me. Now, that's like, it happens because, you can't control everything, right? If the serve comes and you have to open up and you create space, naturally your foot does come off the floor. Right. But I'm not going to spend 15 minutes on 1 foot practicing. That's going to take away from my angles. That's going to take away from my arms, my vision even.
What if you're leveling off in your skill set, maybe in your serve, or you feel like I peaked, I can't get over the hump, or I want a more effective serve. Maybe I need some of these creative, innovative.
So that's innovative.
Yeah.
And that's trying new things. That's where I'm like, there is a huge difference between this conversation, which I'm totally for trying new things. You just had a great example. My serve is really lame lately. I'm tossing muffins over the net. I want to try something new that makes me more of a weapon at the service line. To me, that's a totally different conversation than I'm going to go over here and practice intentionally bad tosses to myself on the off chance that happens in a match so that I can potentially succeed. Two different conversations to me.
Okay. You know who we need to ask is Natalie Foster, the most filthiest, McNastiest serve in the MLV.
Yes. So she's an anomaly because I don't even know how you coach that.
Okay.
For her, I don't know if I was a coach, I'd be like, girl, I don't know what you're doing and how you're doing it, but just keep on doing it. Mm-hmm. But for her, I don't think she's intentionally tossing bad. I think she just makes a very unique contact. But anyway, hopefully people can see the difference here. What Gina was just explaining with this mindset, mm-hmm. I'm not necessarily opposed because I do think that with the evolution of volleyball, mm-hmm. for example, I think defense is a lot different nowadays than it was when I was in college.
Are we talking about passing and digging?
We're talking about defense, digging.
Blocking?
No, I'm talking about digging.
Okay.
Specifically digging, not blocking. It's very common nowadays to see girls play with one hand, where they might not scoop it, but in mm-hmm. a way it's like an upside down attack.
Okay.
In my time, like that was like
no.
Not necessarily a no, but it's like we want two hands on any ball that you can, basically. So it's just, I would say that back row defense has evolved, and so this mindset would really, I feel like, help players in that.
Okay.
But again, I think this is a different topic versus
so you're talking serving specifically.
Yes.
Tossing specifically.
Any part of volleyball is out of your control for the most part because someone else is going to touch it first. Except what? A serve. That is when you have the one and only time in a game of volleyball where you're going to have ultimate full control. No one else is going to touch it before you. So to go back and intentionally toss the ball bad so that I can practice maybe the 3% just does not make sense to me at all.
And that's your story, and you're sticking to it?
I am sticking to it. And I will just say, I talked to a national champion.
Ooh.
She was like, I'm not on Instagram very much, but I happened to open it the other day, and the first clip I saw was yours about the intentional bad tosses, and I thought, that's asinine. I was like, oh, you feel that strongly? And she was like, I think that's very, very poor advice, and I would never practice something intentionally bad, because especially when it comes to serving, that is something that she just basically repeated exactly everything I just said of like, it's something that's fully in your control, and you want to be so confident that you want to like have it a routine of like, I do this the same way every single time. So
and that's
everyone's
50% of the audience. She aligns with 50 to 60 or 50 to 40 to 50% of the audience. So the bottom line is it may work well for some at certain levels, may work terrible for some.
I think that is, I don't even know if I can finish the sentence. I was going to say, I think that is what it comes down to is everyone just has to know their individual self of like what works for them. Mm-hmm. But I even hesitate saying that because I just still, maybe I'm a black and white mindset, but I'm just like, a bad toss should never work for anybody.
But it's not, no, but you might have to make it work in a certain situation or scenario. So why not be prepared when the opportunity arises?
I come to the final conclusion of like great players know how to make those adjustments. They don't necessarily intentionally practice them.
Okay.
But when the time comes, they know what to do. They know how to do it. Whether you have an opportunity from intentionality or by chance, who knows if the success rate is still going to be the same. So I'm going to err on the side of I'm going to practice things the best way for the ultimate success. And
from your point of view,
from my point of view,
just because I'm right or you're right doesn't necessarily make the other point of view wrong. Two things can be right. What works best for you? You referenced Kobe, you referenced Tom Brady. You need to dial it down? Hold on.
I'm just so... There's just no convincing me that intentionally tossing a serve toss bad is a good strategy. That's where I just like everything you're saying, I actually agree with, but it's a separate conversation.
Okay.
If I'm focusing solely on just like the Pitt coach video of like, hey, why don't you toss it bad a couple of times so that you're better prepared? Mm-hmm. I just can't.
Okay. You referenced Kobe and Tom Brady.
I did.
What's
I was
your
like,
point?
Think of the greats like Kobe. Do you actually think he practiced shooting a free throw, something that he can fully control? No one else is in the picture. It's just him, the ball, and the hoop, and the line.
Yeah, and my answer to that is yes.
You think that he poorly shot a free throw?
And my answer to that, every time you keep asking me, that's number two. Do you want to ask me a third time?
Do you think that he poorly shot a free throw to
my
not
answer
score?
to that is yes. Because there's certain situations in a basketball game where you actually have to miss a free throw intentionally on one side of the rim so that the likelihood of your team getting the rebound. Do you want me to keep going? So my answer to that will be yes, 100 times in a row. 7 times 7. Yes. Use the Tom Brady example.
Okay, but I'm trying to say this that's a different situation.
That's an exception, yes.
Yes, that's an exception.
For sure. But you still have to practice it so that you can execute it when the opportunity arises. You can't just, it's not easy to intentionally miss a free throw.
Okay, but why would you, put that in volleyball terms.
Okay.
You going to practice a bad toss just so you can serve over the net?
I'm not going to practice it every time, but I'm going to throw one in there every once in a while, especially what Gina was saying in the early part of practice for the day. I'm going to open my mind. I'm not going to get into my regiment yet. I'm just going to be prepared for the unexpected, for that 10%, that 5%, that 1%.
This is you see this line right here?
It's solid double yellow.
Our brains aren't going to cross that line
Ever.
either.
Okay, not on this topic anyway.
Regardless,
Okay.
this was quite the conversation that we created.
Did you love hearing all the comments like you read in here? I don't know that you did. Are you okay with people disagreeing with you, even if it's half of the people?
Well, as long as they're respectful.
Yeah.
But when they're mean,
Nobody was disrespectful.
I don't think anybody was mean-spirited. No. But yes, I did. I enjoyed reading. I didn't read all of them, but I read a majority of them.
Okay.
And it's interesting.
Is your mind just a little bit, a sliver opened to this?
No.
Ever?
I would never, ever, ever in my entire future life or in my former past career would I go back and intentionally toss a serve poorly.
Then we don't need to keep talking about it because I'm not going to convince you.
That's a great comment to end on. So
well,
let's
get into
on.
the VNL updates. We butchered them last time.
Yes.
Absolutely destroyed them.
Okay, so let's rewind to when you were like getting on me for not being prepared, but then this week I was prepared.
32 episodes, yeah.
So this is my fault for using stupid Gemini. You're supposed to be AI. You're supposed to know all things.
Or you're actually supposed to put in the work.
Are you talking to me?
Us. Because I didn't fact check you. I didn't fact check it.
Well, it makes sense. So last week I used Gemini because I needed to cut time. I was
so unprepared.
I'm not prepared. I have to get ready, so I'm using Gemini. So that's why it makes sense. First of all, apologies to Morgan Hentz and Sage Torres, because those are the two that AI missed and therefore we missed. But that's why it makes sense last week when you were like, why are you talking about Teodora Pusic? Like, she's not even on the national team. And I was like, yeah.
And then
she's
somebody
not.
after her.
So that was the stupid list that Gemini gave me. And I'm like, Gemini, you're supposed to be like foolproof, but clearly they have some updates to do. So that was my fault for using Gemini. So I apologize for not mentioning Morgan Hentz or Sage Torres, who both, this is why I'm like, I can't believe I missed that, because both of them have been actively playing.
Well, we've been talking about them all along.
We have been.
But just we didn't mention them last week.
And then a little bit to our credit, we were going to talk about Morgan, so we would have recognized it last week because you have this passing versus digging conversation that you want to get into. But last week we skipped it because we ran out of time. So that's our bad. Sage and Morgan have been playing
good.
well. I would say Sage has played the most, actually, out of all the setter positions.
A little bit of a shocker because she didn't play much at Grand Rapids.
No, she didn't. She started the season and then she lost that starting spot to Cameron Turner, and Cameron Turner had a great season. So we have not seen much from Sage as far as MLV, and then Morgan is playing more than Lexi.
Wow. To your point, the route from the MLV to the national team. It's open, wide open.
It's open. So don't fall for that lie out there if you're a volleyball player and you're trying to choose. If you want to choose love, that's fine. That's your decision. But don't let it be because someone told you don't have a shot at the national team.
Let them know. Let all the naysayers know.
It is not true.
Secondly, this is your comment. The key is to say things in confidence and make apologies later.
Which is exactly what we're doing now.
So would you rather be wrong with 100% certainty than right with a measure of uncertainty?
Whoa. Say that again?
So would you rather be wrong, but 100% certainly wrong than right with a measure of uncertainty?
Oh man, I think both are equal. Okay. I mean, if you're wrong, but you're like, I'm
dead
sold.
Wrong.
At least you like had that belief for like a short moment. You're like, I'm so right about this. But yeah, ultimately I'd rather be right, even if I wasn't confident. But
yeah, that's
a good question. And then so with that comment,
clean this up.
I could have swore last week. I was like, yeah, USA played 3 matches. So then that means they played 3 the first week. So they've only played 6. They've played 8. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. They've been playing 4 each week. So week 3 begins next week on July 8th for Team USA, and they will be in Japan.
So they take a couple weeks off in between the sessions?
Yes, it's not like they go straight from like Japan to Russia to Thailand. It's like there's some time in between.
Travel, a lot of practice, reset.
Yep.
And you talked about coach going with a variety of different lineups.
Yeah, I was like, is Eric the new Bertolacci?
Oh, the Bertolacci of the VNL. Hey, it worked for her. Is it working for him? Obviously it is.
Yeah, but I wonder if maybe there's two different reasons. So Bertolacci with Indy probably was like, I think every player is strong and capable, and I want every player to be prepared. With Eric, I'm thinking it's more so like every player is good, but I need to figure out which lineup is the best mesh.
Will take us from good to great.
Yes, because it's Eric's, right? It's Eric's first year.
I don't know.
I think it's Eric's first year. So and if you notice, the roster is a lot different than it has been.
To match?
Well, I'm talking in previous years.
Oh, okay.
So we have like a lot of new players on this traveling VNL roster that he's not familiar with. Maybe the players aren't necessarily familiar with one another. I mean, a few weeks ago now, I would say they're probably moving and grooving, but I mean, they're sitting at number 1, so they got to be. But I feel like Eric's mindset's more like, I do have amazing players, all of them, but which 6 or 7 are going to be the best together? That's kind of what I feel like Eric's doing, but I haven't talked to him, so I don't know.
Okay, so we got week 3s in Japan.
Week 3's in Japan, and then the quarterfinals will start on July 22nd. The semis will be on the 25th, and then the championship will be on the 26th. So what I found fascinating, and I really found it hard to believe, is that VNL only started in 2018.
Okay.
The U.S. women's national team, they won the gold the first 3 years.
Wow.
And since then, excluding 2020, because they didn't have a tournament in 2020, they have not even medaled since. And that to me just does not even sound right coming out of my lips. I'm like, no way.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, you went to the VNL.
I did.
In Dallas.
Yeah, I did
2 years
go.
ago?
I think it was 2 years ago. And I watched Team Poland, and Team USA was obviously there because they're hosting. And it was amazing. And I know Poland, I don't remember who won it that year. It was probably Poland. They were on fire that year.
Okay.
But yeah, I just think it's crazy that think of all the USA players that we've had in the last few years. I mean, Jordan Larson being one of them.
Right.
And we haven't even medaled.
Right. Skinners.
We've had Justine, Annie Drews, Kelsey Robinson, Haley Washington.
Were they all playing?
Yeah.
In these VNL? Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm just like, how have we not even medaled?
Let's break the cycle, huh?
Yes,
Let's get back on the podium. So what does the VNL mean for the Olympics? What's the Olympic year?
28.
28.
And
we're
it's
in
in Los
26.
Angeles.
In LA. We're hosting it, eh?
Yep.
Okay.
So host country automatically makes the Olympics. So I'll just throw that out there. We're in there.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a really good question. I think that you might have asked me this question a few months ago or somewhere along the lines, but kind of pushed it down the road. The 12-team Olympic field for 2028 will be filled via 3 main chapters. So the host, so USA's already in it. There? The continental champions. So this is like Norseca, Sev, I don't know what else actually. It says
top 5 finishers of that championship?
Yes.
Okay, they're in.
Then there's World Cup or World Championships, which will fill another 3 spots.
Okay.
So this will happen in 2027 at the World Cup. And then the last one, the final 3 spots to qualify for the Olympics is the FIVB World Ranking. And this is where VNL takes the center stage.
Okay.
So while lifting the actual VNL trophy at the finals is a very prestigious title and a massive payday, the real Olympic grind happens during the 3 weeks of these preliminary phases. So for teams that are hovering around the top 8 to 15 in the world, every single set won or lost in the VNL can be the difference between spending July at the Olympics or watching them from their home.
So you said all that to say what?
The VNL doesn't necessarily, if you win it or medal at VNL, it doesn't necessarily qualify you for the Olympics, but it does help with your world rankings, which potentially could get you a final 3 spot in the Olympic qualifications.
Okay. So there's plenty of roads to the Olympics, and they all matter.
Yes.
There's champions, the Continental, the World Cup, the FIVB rankings, the VNL, it's a big pot.
Right.
And it contributes to who's going to the Olympics or not. So you got some predictions?
Of who will be in the final 3, which means that's like the rankings between 8 and 15.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well,
want me to pull it up really quick?
No.
See who's okay.
No, because I want to move on because there were some transactions in the MLV.
Okay.
A handful of them.
All right.
Several of them by MLV MLV Minnesota. I think we talked about them last week. Liberos.
Right. Did we talk about them?
They were foreshadowing them. They put out
right. That's it.
Instagram
it was like liberos are coming.
Yeah.
Yes. So now we have
yet.
names.
Exactly.
So that's Patricia. How would you say that?
Llabres. Yep.
Yeah. So she's Spain. She's from Spain. Libero, plays on her national team quite a bit, and she had a great year in Germany in 2025. So she was a champion, and she was the libero of the year. Wow.
Good league. Germany's good league.
I loved Germany.
Okay.
That probably was my favorite league to play in. Yeah. So that's a great honor for her.
Good for her. Patricia, welcome to MLV Minnesota.
And then Maddie May.
Yes. Good for her.
I've never really heard from the University of North Carolina.
Yeah, UNC, North Carolina, digging machine, literal backstop for the Tar Heels.
Yeah.
You seen some of the accolades?
For her, yes, I did. But it's very, it's kind of exciting because you don't really hear a lot of news from UNC as far as women's volleyball.
They're coming up. They're on the come up.
So I'm really happy to see her get this position, and I'm excited to watch her play.
Yeah. And lastly, just fresh off the press here, Kayla Hanlon. Hanlon, experienced middle blocker from
Plattsmouth,
Nebraska.
That is pretty cool. I mean, Nebraska is known to breed great volleyball players, so something about the corn here, I guess.
Started out in Nebraska, went to Northern Iowa, played professionally in Hungary, Finland, Germany. Love Atlanta.
Oh, get the ticker out. We're at 10.
We're at 10. What was your over-under?
I said 10. You said over or under 12, and I said I think it'll be 10.
10. LOVB to MLV transfers this week.
We haven't even heard teams from LA or DC.
Right.
I think that
we're going to be on the over for sure.
No. Yeah,
we'll be on the over.
Yeah.
Because we talked about a dozen. You said a little under, but looks like we're going to be a little bit over, maybe a lot over. Yep. So that was Kayla Hanlon. Welcome to MLV Minnesota. Then the Dallas Pulse. Brianna Kadiku.
Kadiku.
Yep.
That's a fun name to say.
Mm-hmm.
Kadiku. Kadiku.
Yep, middle blocker, played at Memphis, and then she transferred to Oklahoma, then played pro in France, Germany, Greece, and Portugal.
Awesome.
Handled this last one for the Pulse.
Iris Schulten. Experienced opposite from the Netherlands, Germany, China, Italy, and Japan.
Yes.
Where is she from, though?
I don't know.
Is she American?
She's from the Netherlands.
She is from Netherlands.
And she played in the Netherlands, from the Netherlands, and she also played in Germany, China, Italy, and Japan.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then what do you know? We've heard something out of the Valkyries camp in Florida, Orlando, USA.
We finally saw a thank you, which is just funny because, I mean, what are the chances they listened to our pod last week?
I'm sure they did. That's why they came out with it. But really, it adds some clarity. There was a lot of ambiguity in terms of who was coming back and who's not, but they pretty much are doing an overhaul and a rebuild.
Yeah. So that must have just been their strategy. They were just either they listened to our pod and they're like, oh, maybe we should listen to these guys. Or it was, we're just going to do everybody at once.
Yeah, a little bit awkward to do it that way, but I mean, that's their choice.
You think awkward?
Yeah, it was like, instead of as they're leaving and announcing that they're going to somewhere else, it's like, okay, thank you. It's like, let's just not say nothing and then just vomit. Thanks, everybody. But not really. That's how I read it, but.
Well, hopefully that doesn't mean everybody read it that way, because then that would stink.
Yeah, but anyways, thank yous to Pusick. We didn't know if she may stay in Orlando or she may go. Shamay's gone. Did you
What do
follow
you
me?
mean?
Shamay.
No, but Pusick,
Thank yous.
yeah, she was announced that with Dallas already, though, remember?
Yeah, these were the thank yous. These are all who they gave thank yous to.
Yeah.
Pusick, Shamay,
Oh,
Weatherington, Georgia Murray, Bree Kelly, Pucas, Colby
I thought
Neal,
you were talking about Pucas, sorry.
Emmy Klika, Vanderweedy's gone. We haven't heard anything from her. Schwann, Shampoo, Kaz Brown, Hannah Maddox. Thank you. See you later. Thanks
That's
for
a
playing.
lot.
Yeah, all at one
It's
time.
like almost their whole team, it seems like.
Yeah, it looks like an overhaul and a rebuild with a new coach.
Who is the new coach again?
I can't remember. Is it
Neither.
Francisco or
Yeah.
like a Francisco? I can't remember what his
Yeah,
name
that's
is,
it.
but yeah. Lastly,
All right.
let's get into this.
You start, because this is
Yeah,
your
this is
thing.
all me. Here's what I know about me. I'm a pretty decent passer
Okay.
when I pass,
Yeah.
but I'm a terrible at digging. I'm a terrible digger. Period.
Why? Are you scared to hit the floor? Are you?
I'm not afraid of any of that. I just feel like they're two totally different skill sets, two totally different
They are
techniques.
different skill sets.
And I'm fairly decent at one, but terrible at the other. And early on in the VNL, I heard some rumblings on Reddit about, Lexi was passing pretty good, but not digging as well as Morgan, or, vice versa. Morgan was digging better, but not passing. Kind of like back in when Morgan Hentz was with the Supernovas, she was digging outstanding, but her passing was less than ideal. So I want to talk about for all those who are, trying to get an understanding of how to do both of them better. What's the difference? What's similar? How do I get better at passing? What do I need to do to get better at digging? What all goes into it? What's the difference between a pass and a dig? Help me out.
I think
First in definition, passing. That's only on a serve receive?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because even if it's a free ball, I think they consider that a dig.
Okay.
But yes, passing would be serve receive.
Okay.
So
A dig is anything other than a serve receive and you up the ball.
yep.
Okay.
So like a pancake would be a dig.
Okay.
A diving one arm swing would be a dig.
Okay. Because they
Basic ball
but
hits right to you and you just dig it.
what if you dig it or you up it but it goes out of bounds, or you
Doesn't
up it?
count.
What if you up it to a player and they hit it into the net or they hit it into the seats? Is that a dig?
Yes.
So what counts as a dig?
If you contact the ball and
Mm-hmm.
get it up and someone else can contact it.
And that's it. That's a dig. Doesn't matter if that second person sends it into the net or sends it out of bounds on the other side. It's still a dig for you.
It has to be a playable ball. So
Okay.
if I pancake it and someone can make it a playable ball, then it's
But
a
they
dig.
make an error.
If
Or they
they
overpass it or they
sometimes that's a tricky, because sometimes your pancake could be perfect, but
Yes.
then they like spaz out
Yeah.
and then they shank it.
yeah,
And
chicken wing it into the net.
unfortunately, I don't think that's considered a dig then.
Okay.
It has to be a playable ball.
Okay.
So
Yes.
did I answer that question for you?
Good enough.
Yeah,
Hopefully
so
it answers the
I
question
think
for our audience.
passing in general is a technical skill,
Technique.
and I think that it's mental.
What percent mental?
I think
Because
that
I've
would come
seen it
down
where
to
it's-
the individual, but for me, it's I feel like it's like 100% mental.
Because you see where somebody shanks a pass, and then you got the shankopotamuses. I mean, you got the yips.
Yeah.
Like it's contagious.
Yeah. Like I have found that the less I care on serve receive, the better I do.
Say it again.
The less I care,
What does that
the
mean?
better I do. Meaning a better way to describe it is I'm just going to focus on one thing and I'm just going to tell myself one thing. And I usually do the best that way. But if
You're talking about keeping it simple?
yes, but if I'm back there and I'm thinking, okay, make sure I move my feet. Okay, make sure I create space. Arms out. Don't let my arms get close to my body.
Dupe
and
it
then,
down.
it's too late. I already
Right.
shanked it.
Right.
So the more relax, and this is an individual answer. I feel like it might not, maybe someone is going to do better by reminding them over and over and over of like feet, arms, space. I don't know.
It reminds me of my golf swing. The more I think about it, the worse it goes.
Yes.
Or the worse it goes.
Yes.
It says grip it and rip it.
That's a great example. I think that is the exact same with passing.
Okay.
The more that I'm relaxed and
What are you
comfortable-
saying to yourself in serve reception? You said, I'm keeping it simple. I'm telling myself this. What are you saying? What's worked well for you? Are you a good passer, number one? On a 10 scale over your career?
I think that I'm a great passer in a match. I don't think I'm a great passer at practices always. And I can't explain it.
They always said it's, you practice how you play how you practice.
You know this about me. I'm a gamer. Like
Ooh.
I come to practices to the best of my ability, and I'm obviously trying super hard, and like I want to get better. Like that mindset's there. But for some reason, something clicks in me, and I'm just a more natural, dominant player when a game's on the line.
How has that served you? How has that worked for you over the course of your career? Because I know at Nebraska, you got 15, 14 capable girls that can start, and it's all about how they practice.
Yeah, no, it's bitten me in the butt
Right.
a lot of times in my career, because a lot of the times in my career, I'm surrounded by equal players who are just as good, sometimes better, sometimes not. But what it comes down to is a lot of coaches decide, okay, who's starting based off the stats in practice this week.
And that's how it works at Nebraska, right? Has worked under Cook,
Yeah. Yeah.
probably under Danny.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the fairest way to go about it. If I was a coach, it's like, who performed the best this week at practice, because that's going to tell me they're most prepared, they're most ready for the upcoming match. So yeah, for me, that has bitten me in the butt. But there have been times where I've been blessed where a coach knows that about me.
You're a gamer.
Yes. And so I am able to back up my play during a match. Maybe I'm not the most successful in practices, but when it comes game time, I can make up for it, which I'm not encouraging.
I was going to say, are you recommending?
No, that's just, I can't explain that about myself. That's just how I am.
That's how you're wired?
There are times, sure, maybe I go crazy in a practice and I'm like, whoa, like I played awesome today. But a majority of my career is like, man, like why can't I get this figured out today or something, like in a practice. But when it comes to game time, it's like, I'm ready to roll.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain that other than I'm a gamer. And I think through other conversations, there are more people like me than you would think.
Do you think that has anything to do with what we were talking about earlier with the incorporating differential learning into your practice routine? Because
Can you explain how that
you're
would?
not practice first. You're not.
What?
You're a gamer, not a practicer.
Yeah,
So
but that doesn't mean my mindset's different. I'm still at practices. I'm still like trying to win. I'm trying to be the best that I can.
Not you're giving less effort or less.
No, absolutely not. I'm not giving less effort.
Okay, it's just the way the cookie crumbles for you.
I can't explain it about myself, but like I think of, hopefully this is okay of me to share, but a couple years ago, I was asked to play against the Supernovas. They had just like an inner squad competition before
Yeah,
the
but you were
season.
playing at the time, right?
No, this was after Charlotte.
Okay.
I was like a couple times in practice because I was helping coach, and I was like, oh man, like
This
I'm
could
only
be
like
ugly.
4 months
This could be
postpartum.
ugly.
So bad. Came to the scrimmage. I had not serve received a ball since before Charlotte. So that was what, like 9 months had gone by. And I passed dimes to where Natalia Valentin Anderson told me after the game in their team huddle, she was like, stop serving Gina. And like, that's just me. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, you're not recommending that behavior. That's just
Absolutely
the way you're
not.
wired.
I
Okay.
don't recommend it.
Put your whole self
But
in your practice.
it's also
to the
something
audience.
that you can't, I don't know. I can't control it.
Okay.
Like, I'm obviously at practice trying to do my best.
I think that's the importance of a coach that knows their players.
Yes. I think we totally got off on a tangent
No,
here. I
we
don't
didn't.
even know how we got here.
That is that is what we're supposed to be talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, bring me back to the start. Where
We're
do
talking
we go
about
from
digging
here?
and passing. I noticed they keep
Okay.
stats on passing. What percent is good, great? What, you know what I'm saying? I looked at the MLV website. They talk about the passing percentages. What percent? What's the recommendation? How should a
So
pro
there's
be
a
passing?
difference between a good pass and a perfect pass.
Okay.
It's just like it sounds. A good pass is still playable.
A good pass is playable by anybody. They can get a touch on it.
So yes, but let's focus on the setter. So a good pass is like I potentially could set 2 to 3 players on this pass. But a perfect pass is I could set 4 different positions.
Okay.
I have 4 different options to set because the pass was perfect. It
Okay.
put me in the exact position I needed in order to have every weapon available.
That sounds like a fine line to me. That leaves room for interpretation. No? Okay.
It's pretty easy.
Okay.
It's pretty easy.
Okay. So then what are the percentages?
For a perfect pass percentage, a good standard would be 20 to 25%, but even better goal, if you're like a top tier libero, you want to sit between 30 and 35%.
Perfect pass.
That's perfect passing.
Which means your pass has allowed the setter to have access or to be able to set the ball to 3 or 4 different positions on the floor.
Yep. So you have all 3 front row hitters in.
So what was that percentage for a perfect pass?
For the higher goal,
Yeah.
30 to 35%.
I mean, to me, that sounds like a batting average. I mean, there's a lot of room for error.
Yeah,
3 out of
serve
3 out of
receive is,
10 times.
in my opinion, one of the hardest things. I think blocking is really hard. I've been vocal about
Yes,
that before
yes.
because you can do everything right and still not succeed. Serve receive is right up there.
Okay.
It's very difficult.
So can you give us, our audience, a cheat code? What are some of the things that you've incorporated over the years into your technique that helped you have pass at a good / perfect
I think
level?
I think there's 2 things. You'll hear a lot of, I think, solid, great passers talk about vision. So you have to be able to see the ball as soon as, even before the server contacts it, because when they're serving short, a lot of the times a server will show that to you in their arm swing.
And you can pretty much predict based on the arm swing, the toss.
It's their arm swing. It's even the speed of their approach. Sometimes when someone's serving short, you can tell because their approach isn't as aggressive.
Right.
It's softer.
Unless it's Natalie Foster, then you literally have no idea.
Yeah, but does she serve it short
where
ever?
this ball's going. Could.
Yeah. So vision is the most important thing.
Before the ball's even contacted.
Before the ball's even contacted, but then definitely when the ball's contacted, did it spin? Did it, is it close to the tape or is it high? Is it going deep or is it going to be a dead fish? That's what we call a line drive float
Sinker
serve
ball?
that just dies.
Okay.
We call it a dead fish.
Okay.
So vision is number 1.
Okay.
The second thing then for me, what I would say is space. So a lot of times I fail. I shank a ball or it's bad. When
So
my
the 70% of the time that it's not ideal pass, it's because
I get caught with my arms too close to my body.
Can you show us on that? What do you mean by that?
Like too close to my body. So I need space. I need space like this.
But
so,
what if it's in front of you?
Yeah, you can do it.
This is
like
on a
this
pass,
is space.
right? This is a pass.
But if it's in front of me and my arms are like this, I'm
Okay.
not going to get it
so
to the
arms
target.
out away from your body.
Yes.
Why? What does that do for you, or what does that do for the pass itself?
It changes like
Trajectory.
basically the angles.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
if I'm passing a ball in front of me and my arms are too close, it's gonna beeline it to the setter. Probably not have a high enough arch for her to jump set.
Okay.
If I'm close to my body and it's to the side, that thing's just shanking.
Okay.
But if I have space and I'm able
You're
to
angling
turn
it.
my
Okay.
shoulders
Create angles
down,
with your platform.
yes,
Gotcha. Keep going. This is good.
I'm just gonna say those are the 2 most important things.
Okay.
When it comes to serve receive. Now, if we want to switch to defense,
No, can we? But I got some stuff on serve receive that I'm intentionally trying to incorporate as me and Cooper are cooking you in the sand. Because I'm passing pretty
you
good
guys
right
cook
now.
us because Cooper hits the tape and it trickles over.
I'm passing pretty good right
50%
now.
of the time.
I'm passing pretty good. You got to read the spin early. right? Like what you said, before they even contact, you're going to know whether it's top, float, or a hybrid or whatever. Communicate. You have to know where you're at on the floor, right, with your teammates. How many players are typically passing the back row in pro? Is it 2 or 3?
3.
Sometimes 2.
You don't often see 2, but you can, and that's not a good thing.
Which means
someone's not passing well.
Okay, which takes me to my next point. Passing is so important that it can actually keep you off the roster and out of the match as an outside. It can keep you off the team.
I absolutely agree with that.
And we've
you
seen
have
it.
to be able to pass.
And we've seen it this last year, I think, with the Supernovas, where Reagan Cooper is an outstanding attacker, but I'm guessing because of her inability to consistently pass in practice or whatever, she wasn't able to consistently get on the floor. So talk about the value of being an elite level passer in terms of what it translates into.
I think that is the differentiation when you're a pro athlete or you're playing on your Olympic national team. When it comes specifically to an outside hitter, your passing is going to be the difference maker.
Okay.
If you're
not your attacking,
nope.
not your serving.
Everyone can score. Everyone can block for the most part. Everyone can play defense at this level, right?
Yes.
I think the biggest difference is going to be your passing.
Not your digging.
Nope.
Your passing.
Your passing.
Okay, which explains why last year for the Supernovas, Brooke Nuneviller, who was a great passer, but, as an attacker, outside attacker, maybe a little bit above average, undersized, a little bit above average, but really a good passer,
Great
which
passer.
kept her in the match at all times.
Yes. That is, obviously I was not a coach last year, but if I'm comparing Reagan and Brooke, that is what put Brooke in the starting 6, is that she is a very strong, very consistent passer.
Okay.
In serve receive.
Thank you. That helps me.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Now that we're on, because I got a couple things on passing before we move. Cheat code to become an elite passer, from my point of view: get your feet to the ball.
Yes.
Dupa down.
What's it?
Dupa.
Dupa your butt?
Yeah. Your dupa's your behind. Get your butt down, right?
Yeah, I
because
don't
you
really
just told me
know
that if your dupa's not down, you're going to change the angle of your platform. You're going to shoot it instead of pop it.
I don't really know if your dupa needs to be down.
It doesn't? Okay.
No.
Get your dupa down.
The difference is like your chest. So if you're like, some people are taught to be like upright, chest high. Some people are taught to be a little more like, not hunched, but
bent over,
like shoulders rounded.
So you don't want your dupa down.
I think your dupa stays in the same spot.
Oh, it does?
Whether
No matter
you're
what? Okay, it's your
like,
platform that moves.
Yeah.
Okay. Chin tuck. What are you laughing at? Oh,
I'm just thinking on the spot, but
yeah, show me the platform. Can you show our viewers the platform? Sorry to get into this, but this is important because I've been passing like this.
you can pass like that.
But some people told me not to pass like that.
No,
because you get blown up and then you go here. If you get blown up, they told me to lock them together. How do you pass?
You can definitely pass like this.
That's how I do.
You can. That is okay.
How do you do? How do you pass?
I ultimately it's like this.
Okay.
Sometimes I like have my fingers out for some reason. It's just like happens sometimes.
Okay.
But it's more like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no necessarily right or wrong way.
Not to my knowledge. No, I've always known, like since I was a little kid, you can pass like that.
Okay.
But maybe that's part of the evolution of volleyball that I'm not aware of. Maybe they're like, no, don't do it. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
But then chin tuck, right? Absorb it and then funnel it.
I don't know if I've ever been taught a chin tuck.
Maybe that was UFC fighting. Keep that chin tucked. Sorry, it crossed over.
I think if anything that would if your chin's tucked, then that helps you stay down. I would say it probably keeps you from standing upright and therefore like the ball catching you up and then basically shanking.
And you're looking it into your platform.
But keeping your chin down would help you stay more in front of the ball.
Okay, then you funnel it, and it's baby food all day long.
Well,
baby food.
I don't know if passing is ever baby food. But
okay, before we move on, let's move into digging because you got passing, digging.
So I said passing was like a technical, mental, skill. I think digging is a physical and mental skill, but in the sense of attitude.
Okay, you gotta be a dog.
You got to be a dog.
Okay.
You can't be scared of hitting the floor.
Yep.
You
Laying out.
You got to lay out.
Go into the chairs.
Yeah, potentially jump over a chair.
Run over your middle blocker.
You just have to have the belief, like, I can get this.
It's conviction. It's belief. It's mental again, right?
It's not, sometimes when we play our holiday
Scrub
stand,
ball, yeah.
scrub ball, sometimes players will see, a young male jump up and they're so scared they're going to get hit in the face that they kind of cower and they're like this, but then the guy whiffs it and it's like, you could have dug that. That's part of the defense is like, you can't be scared.
Okay.
You have to be able to take one to the face sometimes. What's crazy is it rarely is going to happen. If you stand there with your arms open, you have a better success of getting the ball up.
That's how
just
you
by
should be
getting
receiving
hit.
a dig?
Yes.
Because on the line ball, that's the
Yeah.
what the opposite should be doing is getting hit.
What the opposite should be doing?
I think you told me they drop back, or who was it? Maybe it's the back row. But anyway, you're just there to be
Get
a
hit.
backstop.
Yeah. So you want your arms out and you just want to get hit sometimes. If there's like no block and a hit, you're in left back and a slide's coming, you're like, well, my best chances of success right now is just to get hit. Almost 98% of the time, it's not going to hit you in the face.
Okay.
So that's but a lot of the players, and me included, I've been there before. I think that 2% is going to happen and I'll just, bail or just not be prepared, you know?
So a
'Cause I'm
lot of
scared.
digging has to do with being in the right place at the right time, which leads to anticipation, which leads to reading the block,
Reading
which
the
leads
block
to
is very
reading the
important.
arm swing, which leads to reflexes, instinct, being athletic, having vision, being a step ahead, like Wayne Gretzky. You heard of him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've heard of him, but what sport was he?
Come on. GMP
think.
doesn't know who Wayne Gretzky
No,
is.
no,
Somebody
no,
in the
I
comments let her
do.
know. Cook this kid. Are you kidding me?
Oh, wait, why can't I think of who
Professional
he is?
hockey player.
Oh, okay.
Wayne Gretzky was always anticipating skating to where the puck was going to be, not where it was.
Yes.
So having that anticipation and the instincts to set up where it's most likely to be, reflexes and reaction.
Yes, and reading.
And
Reflexes, reaction, reading. But I would probably say it reading first.
Okay, let's do that. Cheat code for an elite level digger.
Reading. What was the next?
Reacting.
Relaxing. What did you
I don't know.
You
Reflexes.
said it.
Reflexes,
Oh,
reading.
reflexes. So reading, reflexes, reactions.
Yes. It's like instincts.
Yeah.
And you also got to have that dog in you so you don't bail.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So you asked me, what are some drills for digging and passing?
Yeah.
And I said, I really don't know if I can answer this generically because it really comes down to the individual and what they need to practice.
Okay, it's
But-
me. I need help digging. What would you recommend I do?
For me, general digging drills that I think are really important. So first of all, I think something that you need to nail down when you're thinking about digging is the drop, step, and hop.
Okay.
So
Drop,
you need
step,
to,
and hop.
So you need to. I would drop step. So I'd put one step back,
Yep.
hop to the position that I need to be. So that way my feet are balanced. I can go either direction and I'm going forward
Why are you dropping step to go forward? I'm sorry.
because it's pushing me forward.
So you're dropping step
So
to...
I'm drop stepping, I'm reading where I need to go. Maybe I take a step to the right
Okay.
backwards and then I push myself forward
Okay.
to the position that I need to
Okay.
go.
Drop, step, and hop. It's like kind of like tuck, duck, and roll.
Sure.
If you're in a fire.
Sure.
Tuck,
But then
duck, and
I
roll.
love having a cone in front of me. So being able, it really stresses you to move towards the ball. You can't just expect the ball to come right towards you. So if you have an experienced attacker at the net hitting balls at you, forcing you to go around the cone. The cone's right in front of me. That's why I don't really want to explain
That's okay.
these.
Yeah, that's okay. I get it.
Okay, another simple one, especially if you're a young girl, is you can kneel on a mat. So like both knees are on the mat and you have someone hitting to your right, hitting to your left, hitting straight in front of you. And that just helps. That really trains your angle.
Your angles, your reflexes, your response time, your ability to read the swing. That's good.
Then to passing, for me again,
Hold on, digging, you would becoming, we talked about this in a previous episode, middle blockers don't necessarily, they kind of delicately hit the floor, but as a digger,
if they
you're
even
one
did.
with the floor.
Yeah. So
As
even
low as you
knees
go-
on the mat, that's an opportunity for you to, possibly extend right forward and go to the floor, finish on the floor, but you're on a mat.
Dupa
So
down. Get that dupa down. Dupa, that's Polish for backside.
Thank you
Yes, you're
for
welcome.
translating that only 15 minutes later.
Okay, give me some passing
So
advice.
passing, I would say,
I'm pretty good at passing. Would you agree? I have
Yeah.
been the last few weeks.
I would say,
How could I get better? What could I work on to get better?
I think space is, again, it's like, I don't know, that's just me, but I think keeping space is the most important.
Are you talking about between your arms and your body?
Yes,
Okay.
between arms and body. So for me, some of the simplest, best drills is doing rapid fire serving. Someone's rapid fire serving at you, but you have a sheet on the net.
Oh, we did that,
So
but with
you
the serve,
can't
right?
see it.
Yeah.
Yes. So it really cuts down your vision. So then you're really focusing on your vision last
Reading
minute.
and reacting.
And obviously you have to make the angles that you need for.
That's a good drill. I
Yeah,
remember that.
so-
That was challenging.
Yes. Another one is you can pass while you're sitting on a swivel chair. So kind of the same situation as like knees on a mat when you're digging. You take away your feet because then it stresses your angles. You have to
Okay.
be able to create those correct angles with your
With
platform.
your platform, and that keeps keeping them away from your body. That's good.
Yep.
Another
And
one.
you're able to move a little bit because it has wheels, but
Yeah. Swivel.
I think rapid fire passing is the best way you can get feel for the ball and consistency, and it's a great warm-up drill.
What is it?
Someone's just serving at you, boom, 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 boom. It's
Yeah, but
rapid
what if you
fire.
keep shanking them? Boom, boom, shank, 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 shank.
Then you need to start over from scratch. If you're shanking every single rapid fire ball, something's wrong. Rapid fire is a drill created for you to gain confidence,
Muscle memory.
and it's a great warm-up drill
Okay.
to get just your platform ready.
Gotcha.
And then obviously the last one is using a target, whether it's a hoop or a basket, that will give you a goal of, if you don't have a setter with you, or if you're one-on-one with someone, that's going to give you the vision and the goal to finish your pass.
Makes sense. Thanks for sharing. Now I'm really going to pass and dig well tomorrow when we play.
You don't even pass with your arms. You use your hands all the time.
No, I don't. I don't pass the serve with my hands.
If we're indoor, you do.
I don't. I'm a setter indoor. But anyway, thanks for sharing that with me. It may, this is stuff that you've been doing since you were in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And have mastered it, but it comes easy to you. But for somebody like us, like myself, and maybe
Not
some of our
necessarily
audience,
easy all the time, but
right? But thanks for sharing with us,
You're welcome.
and thank you guys for sharing with us on this Major League Minute podcast. But before we close out, next week, July 7th, is World Volleyball Day. What should we do? I mean, we're going to be airing on that. How about some comments, some suggestions?
I don't know.
It can't be the same thing for episode 34 that it has been from
Why
episodes
not?
1 through 33, because it's World Volleyball Day.
What do you want to do?
Something different. I don't know. I need help. I need some creative innovation. I need to toss a little bit to the right. Need to toss a little bit to the left.
We're not
Toss
getting
a little
into
bit
that
high,
right
toss
now.
a little below. But anyway, thanks again for joining us on the Major League Minute podcast. If you haven't already and you're enjoying the content, leave us a tip, subscribe, follow us on
Please.
Instagram and TikTok, and we'll see you next time. We'll see you around like a volleyball.
Bye.